Yes, Diane.
Another question.
Yes.
Again, some people think that, I mean, you say these things aren't pertinent, but some people seem to think that if there are traumas in the past, they need to be opened up and worked through. And if not, then this can interfere with awakening. What would you say about that?
Well, if you have traumas that in the past that keep recurring to you, that interfere with your happiness, with your capacity to live in harmony and freedom and joy, yes, of course, explore those traumas. There are many non-dual therapists, and that's what I would recommend. I would recommend that you, whoever visits a non-dual therapist. Francis often reminds us that a non-dual therapist, a good non-dual therapist, a true non-dual therapist, is a therapist who is happy. It's not somebody who you go to and you tell them your problems and they tell you, oh yeah, I have the same problems, I know what you're talking about. By each other's shoulder. No, you want to go to somebody who's free, who's happy, and it's a process. Yeah, so if the trauma is something that's you're experiencing in your life, and it's interfering with you, just seek the right therapist. Now, here in these meetings, we don't address traumas, but we don't address personal traumas as such, but we address the universal trauma, which we all are traumatized by, which is the belief that in the sense of separation, the experience of separation, the belief in being a separate self, that's a huge trauma, which we're inflicted, which we inherit that from a very young age, maybe even in the womb. We inherit to a certain degree this trauma of being somebody special, somebody good, somebody bad, somebody who could be better, somebody who must accomplish this and that, whatever, the storyline, so complex and a real nightmare. So that's a trauma we address. And but if there are personal relevant particular traumas to certain particular body mind, then needs to be addressed if that's what one's experience is. But I wouldn't encourage anybody to go digging for traumas, because heck, who doesn't have a pile and pile of traumas, who? Nobody.
But isn't it then delving into the person?
When you go to the therapist, yes, to a certain
extent. Isn't it encouraging one not to focus then on awareness and truth and reality if you spend time going into this?
Well, yeah. You need to address the issues that interfere with your capacity to function in, relatively harmoniously in your life. No, it doesn't interfere with, you can actually be doing both. You could be both working, and actually there are many of us who worked with therapists on particular traumas and particular issues, and at the same time they're doing the non-dual contemplation, seeking and exploring the non-dual understanding. No, it's not. No, it doesn't. reinforce the person, depending on the therapist you're working with. Because if you're going to a therapist who believes deeply rooted in the belief of personhood, that therapist is deeply traumatized. I'm talking about seeking the advice of or the help of non-dual therapists who have a certain degree of understanding about the illusory nature of the personal self, so they can work. They can be on both sides of the fence in a way, working with the client, depending on the availability of the client to step into the non-dual understanding, back and forth. So yes, if possible, should look into a non-dual therapist. And one source of non-dual therapists is to go to some spiritual teachers, because many spiritual teachers have students, friends who are therapists, and these therapists have a certain degree of understanding. So some of the students who are some of the friends, the people who are working with a spiritual teacher who are therapists would be good candidates to seek their help.